When a system ingests the story, it breaks that experience down into small candidate thoughts called thought seeds. Each seed then enters a competitive arena, fighting to influence what the system thinks about next. Consider these two inputs. First, I sat down and read the report. Second, I screamed and threw the chair at the wall. Currently, both sentences spawn thought seeds with the same opening bid, exactly 0.5. Because both bids are identical, the system ignores their emotional disparity. Throwing a chair and reading a report receive the exact same priority in the cognitive competition. When every seed enters at 0.5, the system treats a mundane task and an explosive event as equally likely to drive the next thought. Without a way to distinguish them, the narrative pipeline functions as a record keeper rather than a filter for what the system should focus on. To solve this, we implement affect weighting. This mechanism doesn't measure the direction of an emotion, whether it is good or bad, but rather its magnitude. We treat affect as a volume knob. Intense love and intense hate are both treated as high-magnitude events that generate the same high-volume activation score. The engine operates by splitting text into 3 parallel word list filters. These hits feed a counter, and that total is plotted along a hyperbolic tangent curve to determine the activation level. This specific architecture rejects the use of a large language model to grade the text. Using a lexicon-based approach instead of an LLM allows the system to maintain sub-millisecond processing speeds, which is required when evaluating every segment of a massive narrative intake. It also ensures strict determinism. The exact same text will always yield the exact same numerical activation, making the system's internal priorities predictable and auditable during debugging. This provides a fast mathematical method for setting a starting bid without creating a performance bottleneck in the pipeline. After the raw math is calculated on the tangent curve, the system applies a final set of constraints. The output is passed through a clamping boundary, which limits the final score to a range between 0.1 and 0.9. Think about a deeply traumatic narrative that maxes out the counter. Why would the system limit that score to 0.9 instead of a perfect 1.0? Pause and consider how that affects competition. The maximum is 0.9 because a score of 1.0 would dominate the system's attention without contest. By staying below 1.0, even the most intense thought seeds must still compete against downstream evidence. This clamp keeps the system dynamic. It ensures that while emotional intensity provides a strong starting advantage, it does not make a single thought immune to contradiction by new data. We can now see the results by running our original 2 sentences through this completed architecture. The chair-throwing sentence triggers the lexicon lists and maxes out the tangent curve. After clamping, it enters with an activation score of 0.9. The report-reading sentence defaults to the fallback of 0.5, ensuring compatibility with previous neutral inputs. To summarize the mechanism, emotion is measured as magnitude, lexicons are used for speed and determinism, scores are clamped between 0.1 and 0.9, and neutral text defaults to 0.5. By weighting the starting bids of these thought seeds, the system mathematically accounts for the emotional shape of a narrative. The screaming seed now has a clear advantage in the competition for attention, ensuring that the most intense moments are prioritized during cognitive processing.